Hey everyone. So I'm for my final project for text analysis. I tried to do a scenic design of what I would do for Silent Sky in the PLT. So I chose set design because it's not something I'm too familiar with. Andrew talked to us a little bit about it during stage tech, but we didn't get to work on it a crazy ton. And it's something that really intrigues me. It's something that might interest me when I'm when I get my degree in theater. I wanted to challenge myself and try this. I'll show you what I did, and I'll explain why I did everything. And there are a few things that aren't necessarily done exactly how I wanted them. That's because I'm using SketchUp, which is a program that Andrew showed us how to use. However, I'm using the free version, which is a little harder to navigate, and you can't do as much as the version that we used on campus when Andrew taught us. So I'll explain like why everything looks the way it is. Also, I want to give the disclaimer: the scale isn't 100% accurate. A few of the things that I did are a little smaller than they should be. However, the final product would obviously be bigger. The objects are all to scale of each other. However, they're not to scale of the theater itself. So, say I have a desk and a door, it should be about proportionally the same size as it would be in real life. So yeah, I will. I'll show you what I did and explain why. Like I said, there's a few missing things. I just couldn't figure out how to do those missing things on this free program. So I'll show you, or I'll explain what I had intended on doing if I was able to do it. All right, here. So this is what I had. So basically, right off the bat, when you look at the front of the script, it says don't make too much. You don't want to have too much on set because you want to be able to transition from, being in the Harvard Observatory to being at the Levette's house, So you got to be able to transition. And I thought this was, something that's a little, clean and can easily transition between being an observatory to their house. So let's say theoretically we're in the observatory right now. The piano would not be there. So I have the piano here, and what I would the reason that we have I'll explain that later. But the piano would be off stage. It would be off stage right, and then everything else would stay the way it is. So this would be the observatory. So one of the things that I was talking about that I could not do and was trying to figure out how to do was to have these back walls be the sky. So I wanted them to be like a dark navy blue or black with like dots to represent stars, because I feel like that should be definitely heavily present in the set, is to have constellations and stars heavily present. And what I wanted to do was to have this whole, all this right back here to be representing the space and all that. Also, something else I couldn't do. Let me see if I can pan up. No, I can't. I can kind of identify it. So from the rafters, what I was gonna have is I would obviously, if I was set designing, I obviously would not be able to mess with lighting. However, I do have an idea, and I would work with the light designer too, unless you're Andrew and you do both. But I would work with the light designer and talk about dropping lights just from a wire. I wouldn't even have anything. I would just have the wire and a light bulb drop down from the ceiling and just dangling there, and have them scattered all throughout, just dangling at different heights and elevations throughout the theater to represent the constellations. So that way they could be controlled, and then have them each connected to their own channel and controlled individually, or you can pair them off into different ones too if needed. That would be something I'd really want to focus on, because I think having those constellations and the lights representing the stars is such a heavy. It's such an important part to this script that I think it has to be that present in it. So that's what I would do with the walls and the theoretically the lights if I was able to. Like I said, the set itself is pretty simple. This would be easy, if Peter was coming in from the other room, he could easily just come in through there, come down, and go back up. I had placed a bookshelf here for easy access. They could put their they could put everything that they're using in there. It doesn't necessarily have to be books. And also to the side, because I do have this stage coming out a little bit, because I wanted to offset it, I did put this here, one to help kind of, not have that be so bland. But I thought it would be kind of a nifty little thing to have a globe right there. Obviously, they wouldn't be utilizing it, but I think a globe is something that can be present both in a house and in a observatory. I do realize that it's not going to be as common in a house, especially in the turn of the century, 1900s. However, I think Henrietta would definitely try to have one in her house. The globe would obviously not look like this. This is a modern globe. It would be one from, the 19th century or something like that. Like I said, this is how it would look if we were in the observatory. If we weren't, I would move the piano. Oh, shoot. If we weren't, I would move the piano off stage or off stage right, and say we were at Levette's house. Oh no, yeah. If we were, the piano would be off stage right if we were at the observatory. Now, say we're at the Levette's house now. What I would do is obviously the piano would slide onto the stage, and we would move two of the desks off. Oh, by the way, the desks should have chairs. I just couldn't find chairs to go with the desks. That's the only reason. But we would move two of the desks and chairs off, and we would keep one of them for Henrietta to use. And then the piano would come out. So when Margaret is playing her music, she can sit down there, and that can be representative of her playing the music. I thought that the bookshelf and the globe and all that are fine to stay there. I do think that they'd be, present in a house, especially Henrietta's. The only thing is, if there's stuff that's specific to the observatory that's in there, maybe it could just be something quick that an actor can grab and run off with, or something like that in between scene changes. I don't think there should be too much to that. I wanted to keep it simple, so that way it can be easily transitioned, and I didn't want there to be too much. Obviously, so what I would do with the floor, the PLT main stage, I would try to, this is all hardwood, obviously up here. I'd try to continue with hardwood down here. However, I do think that that's a lot of hardwood, and I think it would take from the visual. So I think I would maybe just make it in all honesty, like a royal blue, or not a royal blue, a navy blue. I would make it in a navy blue and try to make it look like, I don't know, like tile or something like that. I just feel like the hardwood is taking so much from the main stage. Also, I couldn't change the color of the main stage. That's why it's gray. The model Andrew gave me, it won't let me manipulate the coloring. So that's why that's gray. But I would try to make this something else just because I feel like that would be a lot of hardwood throughout the entire set. And I feel like it wouldn't be very aesthetically pleasing. Especially since basically everything else is wood too. So that would be my main thing there. Maybe even if it just was kept a solid color, like maybe just navy blue and that's it, nothing else, just navy blue. I think that would look fine. I just really wouldn't want this to all be hardwood. I don't think it would turn out well. I think it would be kind of ugly. But yeah, that would be something I'd have to play around with and stuff like that. That's it. If you guys have any questions of why I did something or anything like that, please let me know. I really enjoyed this. This was fun. Like I said, this took me quite a few hours because I was still trying to figure out how to use SketchUp to the full and all that. But I look forward to seeing what the rest of you have done, and and yeah, I hope that you enjoyed my set for Silent Sky, and I'm looking forward to stage managing it as well next year. After reading the script, I'm so happy that this is the show I chose to stage manage. All right, hope to see you guys soon. Stay safe, stay healthy.